Hello and welcome to my new channel. My name is Kat and today I'm bringing you a tutorial for a simple evergreen holiday wreath. So in this project I'm going to take you through the basics of making a holiday wreath. I'll break it down into easy to follow steps and give you some tips along the way so you can achieve an even and professional look to your wreath. And don't worry, although it seems a bit intimidating, it's actually a great project for those of you who are not very advanced DIYers. This is honestly my first time making a holiday wreath like this. I just had a look at a few tutorials myself and decided to give it a try, and I think it came out pretty good for a first attempt. Yeah, so if you want to see how I made this holiday wreath, then stick around. So what you need for this project is a wreath ring, some paddle wire, a cutter to cut the wire and trim the branches, and of course some greenery. And later on, we'll also pull out the glue gun and whatever decor you want to put on your wreath. I start off this project by cutting my greenery into smaller pieces that I can later layer into bundles. If you can source your greenery from your garden, then that's great and obviously the most inexpensive. Otherwise, you have plenty of options at this time of year at your local garden center, and that's where I got my stuff. Some of the greenery that I'm using in this project is some cryptomeria, some noble fir, and some boxwood branches. Some have some white markings on the back that I thought would contrast well with the other greenery, and just choosing a variety of different shades of green that I thought would look good together. If you want more color, you can source some branches with berries on or use magnolia leaves that have that burnt orange backside that's really pretty. I start my wreath off by attaching my paddle wire to the wreath form and really making sure that it's really tight on there. I'm wrapping the wire around the wreath form a bunch of times, as you can see, so it doesn't come off. Now ideally I should have used some green wire instead of this gold wire that I have, as it would have been much easier to hide between the branches, but I decided to use what I already had at home. But if you have green wire, I'd recommend you using that. Once your paddle wire is attached, you do not cut it off until the very end, and I'll show you when we get to that. The smell of fir is so nice in here, you guys. I wish you all could smell this. It's so Christmassy. In the next step, I create my first bundle, as you can see here. I think of how best to layer my greenery so all the different shades of green look good in the bundle. For example, these leaves have a lighter green backside, which I want to be visible in my wreath, so I layer them with the backside facing upwards. And I attach it to the wreath by placing it on top of the wire. It's important that you wrap the wire really tightly a couple of times around the bundle, because as these greens dry, you can risk them falling out of your wreath if the wire is not tight enough. So just keep that in mind throughout the construction of this wreath. You really want to ensure that each bundle is really tightly wrapped around the wreath form. Now my next bundle, I will attach slightly overlapping the previous bundle, and I'm trying to face it slightly outward as well, so that my wreath has more volume instead of it being a really skinny wreath. And I basically just alternate the position of each of my bundles inwards and outwards so that I get this more voluminous wreath. Be careful not to face your bundles too far inward, because you might end up with a very small hole in the middle of your wreath. Also, keep in mind whatever size your bundles are will indicate what size of wreath you end up with. So I try to create each bundle in the same size to achieve sort of an even width on my wreath. And I'm trying to create a fuller wreath rather than a skinny one, so the bundles I'm creating are pretty big. But if you're struggling with this part, don't worry, I got you. I'll show you how to easily correct any gaps or unevenness in your wreath later in the video. Otherwise, from here on, the construction process is pretty much the same. So I'll let you watch me work, and when I reach the end, I'll show you how to finish off the wreath. Now I've reached the end of the wreath and I'm about to attach my last bundle. I make sure to tuck it in under the first bundle and I wrap the wire around it tightly quite a few times as this is the end of it. I finish off by creating a small loop with a wire like this, and this is so I can hang the wreath up on a wall. Only now do I actually cut the wire off, and I tuck it into the wreath so I don't snatch my finger on the wire later on. And now it's time to pull out our glue gun. Now, wherever I feel like the wreath needs more puff to bring it level with the rest, I will fill in the gaps with small pieces of greenery and just glue them down with a small dollop of glue. So taking a small piece, hitting it with a bit of glue, and bridging the gaps for an even look. Easy peasy, and no one will be able to tell, right? Now that the actual wreath is done, you can either leave it as is or you can decorate it. You can build your wreath to be more or less complicated depending on what decorations you want to use. I had some walnuts lying around that I lightly spray painted silver, not to cover them up completely, but just to give them a slight metallic effect. You could add some pine cones, some little stars, or Christmas baubles for more bling to your wreath if that's what you like. Just have a look through your old Christmas decorations and ribbons and use whatever you like. I decided to use this simple red ribbon to give my wreath a little bit more color and make it match my other Christmas decor for this year. I'm no expert in making bows, so this took me a few tries, I admit. I'm basically just making loops with my ribbon, as you see here, while pinching them in the back until I create a big enough bow. And then I pull some wire through the ribbon, I twist it around to hold the bow that I've created. I just fluff up the bow a little bit to make it look nicer, and then I attach it to the wreath. And then I cut the excess ribbon off, and basically we're done here. Honestly, this was a super fun and quick project to work on. It only took me a couple of hours, and it came out really nice, I think. Like I said, this is my first attempt at making a holiday wreath, so if I can do it, then you can do it too. I even created a second wreath that is hanging outside my front door. On this one, I added some silver and brown cones and no ribbon. You can really use the glue gun to attach whatever cones, nuts, or Christmas decorations you like on your wreath, so just get creative and have fun with it. Okay everyone, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and feel confident in trying to make your own wreath. If you enjoyed it, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more DIYs planned very soon. Christmas is hands down one of my favorite holidays, and I have plenty of easy and creative DIYs for you. So if you want me to share some more holiday tutorials, then leave me a comment below. And if you decide to follow this tutorial and make your own wreath, then share your creation by tagging me on Instagram. I would love to see what you made and what color options you went for as well. Happy holidays everyone, and stay safe!